Well, welcome back from that break. And of course, it's still Leadership Dialogue podcast. And my guest is still right here in the studio, Prince Dr. Chinedu Obi, the national chairman of the National Rescue Movement. And the discussion is still coalition movements. What's the idea? What's the game? Is that a true ideological politics Nigerians should be playing ahead of the 2027 elections? Is that a choice or the alternative opposition to the ruling All Progressives Congress? That's my next question to you.
Well, I envisage to see other coalitions coming, and I said it's a welcome development. I'm sure you already see the shocks in the APC quarters that some are some are gone paranoid,
Over the coalition.
over the coalition.
And it's also interesting that some members of the All Progressives Congress are also part of this coalition.
No. If we talk about political implosion, just wait for the next one. Yeah, APC will be shocked with the kind of implosion. When you hear all this movement, governors are packing themselves in there. By the time the primary election come in and you pose one against the other, you see implosion. So for me, the coalition is good for our democracy. And I expect to see more so that we can begin to interrogate them in line with what they present for the country and not just the big name.
Now, since the coalition came to be a few days ago, not one or two persons, have advocated for the need of a Peter Obi, for instance, to run under an Atiku or Abubakar as a running mate, just like they had in 2019 under the People's Democratic Party, where Peter Obi was the vice candidate, presidential candidates of the PDP and under Atiku Abubakar. And perhaps not a few persons believe that should be the case in the coalition movement, even though Peter Obi had said that he does not wish to run as a vice presidential candidate. Rather, he wants to run as a presidential candidate. Do you not see this coalition as something bound to fail?
It's too early to say whether the coalition will fail or succeed. Both Peter Obi and Atiku both had right to their opinion, to their choice of what they want to run. I do not see why a Peter Obi will want to settle for vice president because, in fact, if you check the mind of the average Nigerian today, that's the idea of a president. So why would he be vice president to anyone?
You seem to be speaking with a lot of assurances.
I have been in the political system for a very long time.
You have empirical data to show
I do not
that Nigerians willingly would want Peter Obi as a presidential candidate.
In the Fourth Republic, apart from a Buhari, I don't know any politician with followership, organic followership, like Peter Obi.
In the Fourth Republic, we've had general or presidents, Olusegun Obasanjo, who started off with the Fourth Republic. We've had a Jonathan.
Obasanjo.
We've had a Yar'Adua.
Military. Those were presidents of circumstance. I'm talking about persons the grassroots have believing and demonstrated it. Someone came to my house in the last election to give him access to go and donate 100 million naira to support Peter Obi. He doesn't know who Peter Obi is. I know coalitions of persons who wanted to just be part of that because they believe it represents what they wanted.
How?
Their belief, I'm not talking about me, I'm giving you the experience that I have. So I think that the era in this country where we keep focusing on one big name should be over because it has not solved any of our problems.
Do you also believe that these goodwills may be derived from perhaps the performance of Peter Obi in the last election, 2023 election? Well, then, when you look at it from the other way, If a Peter Obi comes out today or perhaps in 2027 to run for the same office, do you feel he would pull as much clouds as he did in 2023?
The test of the pudding is in the eating. My thinking is, if in 2023, when we didn't have the poor situation we are now, people craved for a change, I think they should do ×2 of it now, because they have more reason now to demand for something different than we had in 2020.
And the outcome of the election did not win their impression of him.
Well, I don't think so. The reason is nobody even gave him a chance that he was going to pull the kind of votes that he pulled. And if you follow the Biden movement over time, there's not been a drop. What they even do is to win more people to their, So it will be wrong to make that conclusion that popularity has waned.
But not a few persons will beg to disagree, because some core members in Peter Obi's kitchen are today against him. Take, for instance, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. I'm sure you have heard him speak numerous times. And then you also have the Bring Back Our Girl movements. Aisha Yusufu speak on the coalition and the corruption, inherent corruption, that went on under the Labour Party within that movement. And today, the Labour Party is in carcass.
I don't want you to make this interview look as if I'm Peter Obi's spokesperson, because we'll spend more time talking about Peter Obi.
No, I'm asking this question because you seem to be confident that Peter Obi might pull more votes than an Atiku Abubakar or a Rotimi. Should they all come together?
Unless you are also isolated from the system. Yes, the names you mentioned now did not say Peter Obi is not a good candidate. They only disagreed why join the coalition. Why was he not forceful? Maybe take laws into his hands. Those are not good parameters to dismiss his popularity. So we need to, but like I said, let's not make this a Peter Obi conversation. Peter Obi is not even a candidate of my party. I wish he is, And those are the kind of characters I need to have run under the national rescue movement if I have the opportunity.
And you think that if you combed Nigeria, for instance, from the north to the east, west, and south, you would not find more credible person?
There are so many of them. Peter Obi chose a wonderful guy, as a vice president. Yes, there are credible Nigerians, like the Akuyumis of the world, the Okonjo-Iwealas of the world, the Aminatem. There's so many credible Nigerians. It's just that Nigerians are always looking at these persons that I don't even know how they found themselves in the political system.
Isn't that the reason why we should go all out? Not looking at personalities now, but looking at individual character and ideology. Going down to the streets, so the grassroots, to pick somebody totally neutral from the P30 and Marathi.
If we can find them, and I said there are too many of them, but our mindset as Nigerians will change. That because a PDP presented us with a choice we don't like, we're forced to it. No. In every democracy, power belongs to the people. Which is why I keep talking about coalition of the Nigerian people against hunger, against unemployment, against poor economy, against insecurity. These are the issues before us. We'll find neutral persons who can give us solutions. And which is why I keep telling everybody, interrogate the document of the National Rescue Movement, where we have given you, we even have a leadership recruitment process. It's not everybody that just throws himself up as leader. Because the challenge you have sometimes is you find one or two persons in your idea of political parties as your candidate, and we don't take time to look at other ones to see what characters do they have. That's what I challenge Nigerians to do in 2027. Look at other political parties and they emphasize all these persons that have brought us where we are. If we do that, Nigeria will change. This is a country that do not require 200 years to change. God bless us with human material, all sorts of resources. Once any Nigerian leaves Nigeria, he becomes a superstar wherever he finds himself. We need to ask ourselves why.
Another question I would like to find out from you is, do you not think this movement is also creating further deepening internal crisis within political parties and promoting disunity among political parties? This is the reason I asked this question. Now, when you look at that movement and the coming together of different individuals to form that coalition movement, all of them came from different political parties, including the APC. But one thing that was not apparent is, this outright denouncing or the campaign from the existing political party. Because former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Tambuwal, for instance, made a statement that they are towing the line of the FCT minister, who, despite being the FCT minister and in the PDP, is also working openly for the APC. Is that the new direction of politics in Nigeria?
Unfortunately, that's a very bad reference is what we want to copy. There's something called anti-party. You need to believe in something and stay in what you believe in. That's an image, what's his name? Wike is doing the wrong thing, shouldn't be something anybody should copy. Everybody knew from the beginning that Wike is the problem of PDP. He's destroyed the party, and I'm surprised they still want him to stay there and continue the destruction. So I just hope that other persons will not import that to any other party, or where you belong to another party and you want to promote the vision of another party.
But that is what is in the open with the coalition movement. Peter Obi has not openly said he's no longer in the Labour Party. And Atiku Abubakar has not said he's no longer in the PDP. And then the list goes on from there. But then,
in fairness to them, it's too early to make that conclusion.
For this coalition is not an association. It is now under an umbrella at the African Democratic Congress.
The coalition is still work in progress. As I speak, I'm not sure within the books of INEC, the only body that regulates political parties, that a transition of leadership has happened. I'm not sure. So it's still a coalition discussion. This is what they want to do.
But this has gone beyond coalition discussion, because you and I, you read in the papers, you saw it openly, that the chairman of the Africa Democratic Congress, ADC, stepped aside. Raphael Wosu has ceased to be the chairman of ADC.
Was that a national
and then
of the party? Was that a convention of the party? These are questions that you need to ask. I said, I'm talking from a player perspective. That a group of persons come before a television and make a pronouncement is not always enough.
What are the procedures? What is the
any exam meeting?
What are the procedures
in that meeting?
Well, INEC.
If INEC was not in that meeting, it's just a figment of your imagination. There are required number of days notice a party would need to give to INEC before a convention will happen. It should be not less than 21 days.
So the ADC go against itself.
That's what I'm saying.
Go against their constitution when they decided to step aside. The chairman decided to step aside for a Senator David Mark to take over the office.
In every association, there's the illegality part and the legal part. They could be part of the illegality part of their movement.
Should a coalition ride on illegality?
Get the point. There's always a process. And I'm saying it is too early to say someone has not resigned, because even this, what you call a meeting now, may not have followed the entire process that can make it a recognizable entity. Until that happens, if anybody is still there and carrying the identity of his party, that's when you can say what you're saying. And like I've said to you, I am not aware INEC was in that meeting. You also were not, you're not aware INEC was in that meeting. And like I said to you, if there was no notice to INEC with a 21 days notice for that event that happened that day, and INEC attends it, it's just still words improper.
As a national chairman of the National Rescue Movement, what do you think Nigerians should be looking out for at this moment? How do you think Nigerians, as first citizens and true inhabitants of this country, should help strengthen democracy through political parties?
I have said before, politics is so big a business that should be left in the hand of politicians because the life of the average Nigerian is involved. This is the time for the Nigerian himself to take the driver's seat. Not necessarily being a member of a political party, but look at the persons that presented themselves, the political parties beyond the ones that you see. Like I said to you, today they are 19. There are 122 seeking registration. Assuming before the next election, INEC registers some. You have multiple parties to choose from. Nigerians should take their fate in their own hands and not rely on other people's narratives. We should find parties that have answers to our insecurity problem. We should find parties that have answers to our hunger problem, build our economy, and make Nigeria take the pride of place as a country. And not that he's my brother, he's my religion, or he was my leader, he's been in power for 500 years. What result do we have to get from? So Nigerians should take the discussion themselves. Look at the statistics. The entire particular political class, including my party, everybody put together, is less than 3% of our population. So can 3% of Nigerians keep holding Nigerians down? I want the 97% of Nigerians to sit back dispassionately. When you go to the market to buy, there's no market for a certain religion, a certain tribe. All of us will buy from the same market. Therefore, if it requires going to Zimbabwe to get a good leader to take us out of the woods, that's what Nigeria needs.
Well, as much as Nigeria needs all of the things you have mentioned, it also behooves some political party to market itself and as well as its ideologies. So, is this some sort of coincidence or some sort of will I say, I don't want to use the word ignorance or perhaps maybe not really being involved, that your party has since after the election in 2023 remained silent on the alleged advances need to Nigerians so far, because prior to this time, even the president himself, through the Senate president, has said that it is important that opposition parties put themselves together so that APC can have a credible opposition.
Let me tell you why I blame the media squarely. The media's role is to inform, educate Nigerians. The media role should have been to de-emphasize even the coalition, de-emphasize the APC, and tell Nigerians there are 17 other political parties. We came here, national chairman of a political party. You're not asking me about NRM, you're asking me about coalition of other parties.
But how much has the NRM, but how much has the NRM, for instance, engaged the media?
We do. I'm here, I'm engaging you. You're not discussing NRM, you're discussing other parties.
No, because I'm asking this question because you already put some people who are parties and those who are not. I'm asking this question because apart from the coalition which Nigerians now know, or perhaps for some of them, it's like the only saving grace they have. We have parties like the NRM. And from your mouth, you have said it, that you're not even part of this coalition because you believe that Nigerians should form their own coalition. And then I ask, how is it that your party has been silent all through the times Nigerians were yearning for a change? There was a time that prices of food items in the market skyrocketed beyond beliefs. The president, abruptly announced the subsidy removal without putting shockers in place, so Nigerians would not feel the impacts. And then, right in your very before, Nigeria was announced as the poverty capital of the world. And then you had seen the statistics also, that by 2030, the poverty rate in Nigeria will triple. Where has NRM been?
NRM has also...
How have you been able to stand
as the official song for NRM? Now, you won't even give me a chance to respond.
Okay, please go ahead.
That's a problem of media. The media has a mindset. That's why they promote the ones that can put us where we are and they don't talk about us. NRM consistently have spoken on everything that we feel that is wrong. We've made ourselves available, but you choose to report what you want to report. Invite me every day, let's take all the issues in Nigeria. You will not do that. You prefer APC or PDP.
No, that's not correct. We are political.
Challenge me to it a weekly interview on ideas NRM presents to Nigeria. And you're not alone in this. The entire media are focused on PDP and APC. That's why they've given Nigerians the impression that there are only two parties. And I said to you, they are 19. They are 19. And those 19, each one of them has, like you told me here, there's no ideology. One of the things you sell before you can register your political party is a manifesto, a constitution, an ideology. If you don't have the three, I could not register you. So the question is, media is, if you like, partial with these people. They apparently, because they're
That's a lot of accusation, because we as the media, we have been trained to report all sides all the time.
what they can prove me wrong by making sure that NRM comes here to discuss. And when I come, ask me about NRM,
We will definitely bring you back to the studio.
God bless you.
In coming days, you will coming back here to tell us how far NRM has gone, because this coalition seems to be like a bulldozer coming with so much might.
NRM is the only party that realized that Nigeria requires a rescue. And in its name, registered the party National Rescue Movement. National because we're looking at the country. Rescue because that's what the country requires. And if you know, you hear PDP talk about rescue. Coalition is talking about rescue. Everybody's talking about rescue. A party in 2017 sat down and put together a document that will rescue Nigeria. But you choose to be where you are. So that's why I said challenge us to interrogate those documents. And you can find that the problem, the solution Nigerians are looking for, the NRM has provided.
Okay, as we wind out this conversation, what should Nigerians look out for in a leader come 2027?
A leader with competence, with character, not just the character is key in leadership. Competence, ability to do the job, and the one that is empathetic to Nigerian sufferings. You know, we have leaders now that look at us as conquered people from the way they address us, the way they talk to us. They look at Nigerian youth, they say Nigerian youth are lazy. Nigerian youth that are champions all over the world. We call them lazy because they see us like a conquered people. So we should look for persons that don't look at us as lazy people, people who understand our potentials and give us the opportunity to manifest that.
Well, most sincerely, thank you for your time with us. National Chairman, National Rescue Movement, Prince Dr. Chinedu Obi. Thank you for your thoughts on this program. Of course, it's a continuing conversation, and we also look forward to having you back in this studio
Every day.
to tell us how far the NRM has gone
God bless.
in terms of bringing a Nigeria-centered coalition movement, which you have promised Nigerians right now. Well, this is what we'll call it a day, or this edition of Leadership Dialogue Podcast. Remember that you can always drop your comments, like our pages, and of course express what you think about this conversation via our platforms on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. The handle still remains at LJE Nigeria. Well, I'm Chinedu Obi. I'll see you again. Bye.